travel advice for Taiwan, you find the usual recommendation. Go to the Taipei 101, visit the National Palace Museum, have some food at the night markets, and maybe visit one of the natural attractions like Sunmoon Lake and Alisan. Now those are all great, but there is one thing you should add to your bucket list, and that is to watch a baseball game in Taiwan. Alright, look, I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking, why would I waste hours of my life watching a boring game? My friend, I'm not a baseball fan either, and I had the same thought. Now thankfully, it wasn't anything like that. It was more of this. Hero! Hero! You get the idea. Taiwanese baseball isn't the MLB, but what teams try to do is provide as much entertainment as possible to the fans. Now, some of you might have seen cheerleaders in different countries like Japan and Korea, and you might be wondering, what's the difference between Taiwan, Japan, and Korea? Well, in this video, I'll be going to a game and showing you all the differences.
Good afternoon from sunny Taoyuan, Taiwan.
So today's game is part of a special series between 3 different teams, one from Taiwan, one from Korea, and one from Japan. So there's going to be 3 games in 3 nights. Every team will get a chance to play against each other, but for tonight's game, we'll be watching the Tohoku Rakuten Golden Eagle from Sendai, Japan versus the KT Wiz from Suwon, South Korea. The organizers had announced that there will be some sort of a special event with some of the cheerleaders attending tonight's game. While waiting for the ladies to appear, I had a friendly conversation with a nearby fan.
台湾现在是弄得像全主场的概念，就是2侧都是同一个球队，同球队加油，然后整个氛围就是像整个一个家的感觉这样子。对，这是台湾才有。
After our lovely conversation, the cheerleaders appeared and introduced themselves.
大家好，我是東北人情ララベイ。はるか、よろしくお願いします。
The meet and greet started soon after, and I was off to explore the other areas of the pre-game event. I wasn't sure where to start, so I headed over to the information booth to get some advice. And over there, they told me that every fan sitting in the lower bowl for that game will get a limited edition t-shirt. They also gave me this little card so I can participate in some of the games. The first game I played was some sort of a baseball bingo where you had to toss a ball into a slot. You had 9 tries to hit 1 slot. You can't possibly mess this up, right? Yeah, this is why I'm not a baseball player. After that awful toss, I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to beat this game. But just as doubt seeped in, maybe my baseball career is back on track. The second game I thought was a little bit tougher. You have to shoot an arrow into a very narrow bucket.
这样子。好
，OK， 恭喜过关。重的那一面会比较好。
重的那个，对不对？好吧。
有时候不一定真的是提示啊，日本还是韩国？
来了啦！
好，来日本，来第几题
？Honestly, this game is a lot harder than it looks. It might look like I just missed the shot, but it's a big difference.
好了，来第几题？
中奖了。
After that surprising victory, I was one step closer to getting that mystery prize, whatever that is. The third game was very simple. They ask you a question and you just have to answer it correctly.
怎么会知道？哎呀，怎么会知道？但是对吗？
哦，那就对了。
那就对了。
盖章来，谢谢。下一位，好，日本。旁边服务台到最后。来最后一题。
The reward for all that hard work was a bag. Not sure what I'll do with this bag, but hey, I'll take it. After the pre-game fun, I figured it was time to enter the arena and get settled down for the game. On the way to my seats, I noticed that there were restaurants selling a variety of food such as hot dog, pizza, bento, and even burgers. Yes, there was a Burger King in the arena just in case you needed it. For me, I just needed a cold one, a bubble tea. Alright, so if you're going to the game, make sure you're at your seats well before the start time because there's always going to be an opening performance and you don't want to miss that. Now for regular season and playoff games, there's always an opening dance performed by the home team's cheerleaders. But because tonight's a special occasion, we'll get the opening dance from cheerleaders of 2 different teams, the hometown Rakuten Monkeys and the local volleyball team, the Taoyuan Leopards. Alright, so with the opening dance out of the way, it's time to welcome the players onto the field. And what better way to do than to have the ladies cheer you on? Okay, so what you're seeing right now is how the Japanese and Korean baseball teams welcome the players onto the field. For Taiwanese teams, they have a special songs for welcoming players. So this little footage is how the 7-Eleven Uni-Lions welcomes their players into the game. We are Lions! We are Lions! We are Lions! We are Lions! Alright, now that we're all ready to begin the game, let me explain to you what Taiwanese cheerleaders will do during the game. They are expected to entertain the crowd from a stage behind the first and third base, and they're expected to do it during the first and last 3 innings of the game. So as you can imagine, the home team's cheerleaders will be split into 2 groups, one behind the first base and one behind the third base. Now, if you don't see your favorite cheerleaders during the first 3 innings, don't worry. If they're on the roster for that game, the 2 groups will swap, so you'll be able to see the cheerleader during the last 3 innings of the game. Now, obviously for this game, there is no home team, so both teams brought their own cheerleaders. Now, I'm sitting behind first base by the Japanese cheerleaders, and just across from me at the third base are the Korean cheerleaders. Alright, so right off the bat, we see a big difference between Japanese cheerleaders and Taiwanese cheerleaders. Now, to give you some context, Japanese cheerleaders don't have a stage. They usually perform on the field, and they don't perform during gameplay. So for tonight, it's a little bit different because they're forced to be on the stage because of the Taiwanese format. And I think it shows because they don't have a lot of songs to dance to. So they're dancing to the same 4 or 5 songs for the whole game. In contrast, I think Taiwanese and Korean cheerleaders are more similar in the fact that they dance to songs. They have a song for every player, every situation, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, in Korea they also have those stages. Now you might be wondering, what's the difference between Taiwanese and Korean cheerleaders then? Well, Korean cheerleaders, think of them like K-pop stars. They're very demanding in the way that they want the dance moves to be perfect. They want to dance in unison in relation to the team formation. Another thing you'll notice is that they're not going to have a lot of personal interactions with fans because, well, think of it this way. Their image is like a professional K-pop group. Now, in contrast, Taiwanese teams are not as strict on dancing. In Taiwan, the most important thing is to have personal interactions with the fans and have a unique personality. So during games, you'll often see cheerleaders interacting with the fans while they're dancing or even when they're taking a break. So I guess you can kind of understand why it's fun to go to a game. It's kind of like going to a party with some friends. And man, I've got to say, the custom songs they have for the players, they're fire.
他的名字，高雄打区。他的名字，火力全开，一斗安打，攻把成决胜。猛击交给你们，好棒炮击起来，拍手往下喊名字好。好棒，强大，安打，全垒打，轰吧，展翅飞翔，飞吧。 一起来！ 起来 Super Power SP Velocity， 拍手直球，拍手对决，球要给谁？直球，对决。球要给谁？大安打，安打，洪志杰，志杰 ，Let's go！ 嘿嘿嘿嘿，大声喊出英雄迎战，嘿嘿嘿嘿，全线预备，投起来！
My soul was healed. That was beautiful. There's some of you out there that might be thinking, well, we've got the kids camps in the West. Do they? No, they've just got some cheerleaders. Whoa, hold on, man. I have some good news for you. They do have kids camps here in Taiwan as well. Okay, so I think at this point, nobody's asking about the game. But if you're a loyal baseball fan, here are some hits. I was disappointed about this game was that they never followed the Taiwanese cheerleader rules. They didn't swap the cheerleading groups, so I never got to see the Korean cheerleaders in front of me. But throughout the whole game, I just saw them having a party, and man, it sucks.
운동.
The good thing about this is a one-off special event. So if you go to a regular Taiwanese baseball game, you won't be disappointed. They won't do you dirty like that. Okay, so if you watch the video all the way until this part, I appreciate it. I'm not gonna ask you to subscribe. Instead, I'll show you a nice performance by Taiwanese cheerleaders. Enjoy!
Yes, you can.
坚持到底，即便面对危机，反转战局，危机就是转机，永不满足胜利，与我并肩行，超越自己。 面巨大的困难终究会突破。困惑低潮有我，荣耀时刻有我，一路上有我，我们就是你冬天里的一把火，抓住好时机，放手一搏，不畏惧阻碍，昂首阔步去闯，云端烈士自由徜徉，决心绝不会动摇。总冠军梦想必须兑现，将信心指数点下 ，Yes you can。若我们不想有遗憾，就勇敢的去冲吧，坚持到底，即便面对危机，反转战局，危机就是转机，永不满足胜利，与我并肩行，超越自己，闪闪发光的你。
Yes, you can！局下半打击林安可。